Guys, it's Ava. So today I'm doing a little darker topic, a lot darker topic. Sorry, I can't see with my bang, so if I end up looking like my big forehead, it's not even that big, but it's okay. So today I have a script over here on the side of my screen. So if I look over here, it's because I'm looking at the script, and if I look down, it's because I have a squeezy. Because yeah. Anyways. Just a quick trigger warning, TW, whatever you want to call it, before we actually get into the topic that I'm going to be talking about, because this is about, murder, and there's going to be sexual assault, sexual violence, drugs, drinking, and all of that, so if you get triggered or upset by any of that, I would click off right now. Okay, thank you, let's get into it. So I'm sure everyone knows who Jeffrey Dahmer is, but if you don't, that's going to be okay because I'm going to go over his story all the way from his childhood to adulthood. Okay. Jeffrey was born in Wisconsin, the year of 1960, to his parents Lionel and Joyce Dahmer. Sorry if I say any of the names wrong because I didn't do a whole bunch of research on how to pronounce them. Sorry. At age 4, he had gone under double hernia surgery, leaving him quiet and more withdrawn from other kids. His mother had severe depression and hypochondria, a mental health condition which is known for causing extreme fear of having or getting illnesses, causing her to consume lots of pills and drugs and needing constant attention, leaving Jeffrey emotionally neglected. Also, another quick sorry, I'm dyslexic, so it's kind of hard to read this, so I'm going to try my best. Okay, continuing. By the young age of 8, Jeffrey developed an abnormal obsession with animal carcasses, dead bodies of animals. He started to collect roadkill, skin small animals, and preserve bones in jars of chemicals. As he started high school, his peers viewed him as weird or a loner, causing him to start alcohol abuse, which is drinking very heavily. He would drink heavily often, even at school, to numb his thought of sexual violence and control that were getting worse at an alarming rate. At the age of 18, Jeffrey's parents went through a horrid divorce. As his mother legally took custody of his younger brother, he was now left alone in an empty house. This is where his first murder will occur. Weeks later, in June, the summer 1978, he picked up 18-year-old hitchhiker Stephen Hicks. After Jeffrey successfully was able to convince Hicks to go home with him, they drank heavily and talked for several hours. This soon led to sexual activity with Stephen and Jeffrey. When Hicks first started to hint that he wanted to leave, Jeffrey tried to convince him to stay longer, which Stephen denied. He denied this because he had a rock concert to go to later on in the evening with his friends, I assume. And yeah, after Stephen denied to stay longer, Jeffrey grabbed a 10-pound weight and smashed Hicks' head in from behind brutally. This will be Jeffrey Dahmer's first ever recorded murder. Now, what I would assume, how they figured out he was dead, but I would assume, because he was going to a rock concert probably with his friends later, I would assume that he didn't show up, they probably thought he was missing, or they reported it. Something, I'm not sure at all. You could do research if you want to. And I don't know if all of this is completely accurate. I did get a lot of this from the web and other documentaries, but I did do research, so anyways, a year later, in the year 1979, Jeffrey's father, Lionel, decided to send his son to Ohio State University and later the U.S. Army. 3 years later, Jeffrey flunked out and was discharged from both due to excessive drinking. His sergeant thought his abnormal drinking would limit his ability to perform as a soldier. Sorry, I literally cannot talk right now. I'm so sorry. Okay. Later, that was weird. Later, he moved in with his grandmother in Wisconsin. There, he killed 3 people, in his grandmother Catherine's basement. His victims were 25-year-old James Dockster, 15-year-old Richard Guarano, I think, I'm not sure, and 20-year-old Anthony Sears. This is horrible to think that he's doing stuff like that to children, literal children. I swear, this is just horrid and disgusting. I'm sorry. Back to the script. Dahmer attempted to. Hold on, the script is wrong. Hold on, let me fix it. The script wasn't wrong. It was me. Sorry. Anyways, Dahmer admitted to drugging, strangling, and dismembering the victims on the property. He kept and experimented on the late victims' bodies before Catherine demanded he moved out due to strange odors coming from her basement. Now, imagine you were in her situation. Your grandson, who you trust completely, you think he's innocent, right? Like, obviously, he's living in your basement, like, and you start smelling weird odors. Like, I would just think that he's probably shitting himself down there. Sorry. But this poor innocent woman, like, I feel so bad for her. Next. After his grandmother kicked him out of her house, Jeffrey then moved into his own apartment in the year 1990. Whoa, my mom would be 10 years old. This is where the murders of 16 more boys and young men would occur. How twisted does someone have to be to do this, I swear. His first victim of 1990 was 13-year-old Keenson Simophone? I don't know how to say that at all. I'm so sorry. The brother of Jeffrey's later victim, Conorak? Not sure. Jeffrey was charged with second-degree sexual assault and incesting a child. After luring Keenson to his apartment, saying they would have drinks together, Jeffrey drugged Keenson's drink. He continued to molest the boy. Luckily, Keenson was able to see the danger he was in, taking the opportunity to flee the apartment when Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't paying attention, later reporting Jeffrey to the police. So, he made it out alive, luckily, but he was still, like, messed up by him. I feel very bad for all of these victims, and this script was very hard to make for me, just, like, in general. Anyways. In 1991, Dahmer had lured, hold on, let me figure out this word. I won't pause. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, back to the script. In 1991, Dahmer had okay, the word I can't say is this. Lured. Can you see it? Lured. I can't say it at all. I'm so sorry. Anyways. Lured. Lured. I don't know. Lured. In 1991, Dahmer had lured another victim to his apartment, 32-year-old Tracy Edwards. Similar to Keenson, after breaking free from Jeffrey's apartment in handcuffs, he told 2 police officers a freak had placed him in handcuffs. Tracy then led the police to Jeffrey's apartment, where Jeffrey let them in, surprisingly. After finding many Polaroids of his previous victims in very sexual and explicit positions. That's disgusting, honestly. Human remains in his fridge and freezer, including a whole human head, as well as an oil drum. If you don't know what that is, it's just a giant, barrel thingy that's metal. An entire oil drum full of human body parts next to his bed. Dahmer tried to escape but failed. He then was sent to trial, where he confessed to murdering 17 innocent people. The judge has sentenced him to multiple life sentences, and he was later killed in prison by a fellow inmate, Christopher Scaver, after he beat Jeffrey to death with a metal bar 3 years later in 1994. After he got out of the army, this is all his arrests, sorry. His arrest. After he got out of the army, he was arrested for the first time in 1981 for drunk and disorderly conduct. The second time was a year later in 1982. He was arrested for indecent exposure with a $50 fine. In 1986, he was then arrested again for masturbating, just self-pleasure. If you don't know what that means, it's basically jerking yourself off, or yeah, I don't want to explain that. Anyways, masturbating in front of two very young boys. I'm guessing what they mean by young boys around my age, 13, 15, maybe 10. Not sure the age range, but this messed up, disgusting thing to do, and it's just horrible. This also was an indirect form of sexual assault. He was sentenced to 1 year probation. In the year 1988, when his victim, 13-year-old Kyson Sigmaphone, I don't know how to say it, escaped. His last arrest was July 22nd, 1991, when he finally got caught for murder, concluding in 4 total arrests and 17 lives lost. In the end, Jeffrey Dahmer drugged, sexually assaulted, and murdered 17 people. 17 innocent lives lost because of a perverted freak that deserves to rot in hell. Sorry, I got a little bit. Anyways, this is the names of most of his victims that are either dead or that just... Anyways, Stephen Hicks, 1978, which is Dahmer's first ever victim. Stephen Tomey, 1989. James Doxter, another 1989. Richard Garino, 1989. Anthony Sears, 1989. Eddie Smith, 1990. Ernest Miller, 1990. David C. Thomas, 1990. Oliver Lacey, 1990. Joseph Bradehoff, 1990, which was Dahmer's last official murder before his arrest. Those are the only 11 known victims out of the 17. And that there concludes my video on Jeffrey Dahmer. And I know I didn't go over everything. If you would like a part 2 or just me explaining more of it, then I could totally do more research, but it just might take a while. And this video's shorter because I didn't want to do like 3-hour-long videos that like Rotten Mango. I love her so much. I don't know her real name right now, but I know she does it. But I love her so much, and yeah, thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me, and bye.